Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. I'm Nick Reeves and this build is the next part in the build series for this experimental wing. In the last video I think I finished with the leading and trailing edges being glued on. Since then done a little bit more. The trailing edge has just been sanded to follow the shape of the wing. It's not perfect, but it'll do for what I'm trying to achieve with this particular wing. There's been an experimental one. I don't need it to be perfect, I just need it to work, if that makes sense. So now what I'm going to do is take a razor plane, David plane, whatever you want to call them, and just take the worst of the leading edge off to round it off to follow the aerfoil. I'm not going to fully sand it just now, because once I've done that I can then start looking at the position for the spar that's going to go in and see about getting that routed out. And then after that we could possibly start looking at servo positions, various other bits and pieces as we're going along. But first of all I need to get this shaped up, so I'm going to crack on with that just now. Okay, so the bulk of the shaping has been done. I will take a sanding block to the leading edge to give it a bit more of a shape. But just now I think what I'll probably do is leave it as is and start trying to work out excuse me, where to put the spar in. So I wouldn't mind trying to get that glued in sooner rather than later. The wing as it is just now is fairly stiff. I've certainly come across wings that are not as stiff as this. So yeah, pretty pleased with how it's going so far. It's all pretty straight. So yeah, next stage is working out where the spar's got to go. Okay, so I've worked out where I want the spar to be, marked with a pen, Sharpie in this case. I'm going to be using the router bit in the Dremel to make the slot. Obviously this needs a guide to make it a straight line. So I've got a piece of trailing edge which I've offset to one side. Because this bit rotates clockwise as you're looking down onto it, it's going to try, if I go right to left, it's going to try and pull it into the wood, into the guide, so it's going to keep it straight. I found before if I go left to right, it actually tries to wander away from the guide. So if anybody's using one of these tools, just something to think about. So I'll give it a go, see if we can make a spar slot. Well, that seems to have gone pretty well. And by the looks of it, it's going to be a nice tight fit for that spar. So I just need to make sure it's all in the right place. If I need to extend it one side or the other, which I don't think I will. We are 165mm from that end. And 165, that's fine. So that is just in the right place. Take this all apart, clean it out, and see how the spar fits. Okay, so it's a couple of days later from the last bit of footage. It's been a bit busy here, which is why it's a few days later. Excuse me. Spar slot was routed out with the Dremel router, mini router bit. It just cut straight through it. Foam is nothing for that piece of kit. I've used a piece of pine, not pine, spruce, sorry, as a spar. I don't know how well you'll be able to see the length of it, but it's covers quite a bit of the span. It's now glued in and it's pretty stiff. I had a bit of a panic because just as I started to pour the glue, I had a parcel delivery arrive, dealt with that one, came back out, carried on, had another parcel delivery arrive, came back out, and I was trying to get it all in and all fitted and whatnot. There's glue going everywhere, but I think all things considered it's turned out pretty well, certainly for the first one anyway. I'm not too worried, to be honest. So now what I've got to do, the spar's on the bottom because that's the flattest part of the wing. What I'm going to do now is work out where battery hole's got to be. Standard AA 4.8 volt pack. It's going to be somewhere there. I don't know if you're able to see. And I've got to work out servo positions. The other thing I've got to work out is there's going to be a tank bay which is going to be right behind. Again, I don't know how well you can see. I'll see if I can move this camera a little bit. So the battery is going to be somewhere there, I think. Servos. Oh, stuff everywhere in here just now. Servos. I'm just going to grab a servo. I don't know what I'm going to use, but this is just a servo. Servo is going to be somewhere there, I think. I don't know. I have to look at the drawings I've got. So once I've worked out where they're going to go, the battery hole will be cut out and all the way through. The tank bay will be cut out and all the way through, and the servos will be just routed out down to the thickness of the servos. I'm going to take the servo lugs off, just so it's a rectangle instead of having to worry about the servo lugs. I'm only going to be using 2 3-quid servos in this. I'm not using anything exciting. So yeah, that's the next thing now, working out where it's all going to go. But it's come together nicely, so I'll crack on. Okay, so the first servo hole has been cut out. Again, instead of using the Dremel router, these are just the 250 or 3-quid servos from Hobby King, 15138s or whatever they are. Again, it's not a perfect fit yet. Again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but the servo will go in there. The servo lead will come through to this battery bay at the back, because there's going to be a little receiver in there. So just a few more bits to cut out. I'll do the same with the other servo, and keep the progress going. So, a note to anybody using one of these Dremel router bit things: don't get it anywhere near latex adhesive, Copydex or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't cut it, it just chews it up and tangles it around the end. So I'm going to take a sanding block to it. We've got a battery hole now. It'll fit quite nicely. Now, the keen-eyed amongst you will see that it is cut oversized. I can still get my finger in there. That is where I'm planning on putting a receiver. I'm not exactly sure what receiver yet, but probably one of the little featherweight lemon ones, because they seem to work alright. They're cheap. I don't mind smashing one to bits. That is actually a nice snug fit in there. So I'll give that a little clean up, a file just to go around all the edges. If you're not using them, Permagrit tools, give them a check out. Great tools. Now this battery bay has come right up to the spar. That was kind of intentional, because this point right in the centre for the trailing edge join line. There's not much there to join it, so I wanted the spar to go across, but I also need the battery to be as far back as possible to help balance. Now I need to cut out the latex. When it comes to fitting it, I might have to extend this battery bay forwards just to get the receiver in, but that's no great hardship. Yeah, so what will happen now is there'll be, on the back side of this, there'll be a ply plate glued on to create the floor of the battery tray. There'll be some channels cut in. Where's the servo gone? So the servo will sit in there. I'll cut a channel in the foam for the servo lead. That'll be good. Now the next thing I've got to think about is the fuel tank. It's the one thing I've been sort of waiting to do. I've got a couple of these little 2-ounce fuel tanks, which should be more than enough for a 12 glow. But the problem is they're quite flat. You know, sitting in there. It'd be a nice snug fit in there, nice and streamlined and whatnot. But the pipes and everything coming out the front will have to all bend up so I can get clearance. So what I'm thinking is actually see if I can get some of the Sullivan tanks, the slant tanks. So I might well wait to do the tank area until I've had a look at that. Which means I'm going to have to buy some. But yeah, progress is moving on. I'm actually quite impressed with how this is going. What I'll do now is see if I can find some ply. I know I've got ply, but find a suitable bit of ply to glue onto the bottom here and get that gluing up. And then while it's gluing, I'll go and see if I can find some tanks. And then once I've got the tank bay sorted out and worked out, I can then start doing the final bit of sanding and get some tape on it. So yeah, yeah, I'm pleased with how this is going just now. But for now, I'll end this video. If you're liking what I'm doing here, give us a thumbs up. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, down the bottom here, hit the subscribe button. Tick the bell, you'll get notification when I put a new video up. Underneath, or every comment I read, every comment is appreciated, positive or negative. If you like what I'm doing, tell me. If you're unsure what I'm doing, tell me. If you think I could be doing something better, tell me and I'll try and do it better. If there's anything you want to know about what I'm doing here, ask the question. A lot of people said, oh, how did you do that? Or how do you do this? Great. Ask me, because I'm not telepathic, I don't know what people want to know. I'm doing this as an experiment, so this sort of thing at the minute is relatively new to me. But I'm having fun doing it, and that's what counts as far as I'm concerned. So until next time, I'll catch you all later.